Support for Another Round comes from Squarespace. Go to squarespace.com today for a domain experience that's transparent and easy to set up. Just make sure you enter offer code Another Round at checkout to get 10% off. Make your next move with Squarespace.
Hey everyone, Eleanor from the Pod Squad here. I just wanted to share with you some very exciting news, and that is that Another Round is having a live show in Chicago, and we want to see you there. Join us on June 21st at Thalia Hall for a live taping of the podcast. It's going to be amazing. It's part of WBEZ's Podcast Passport series. And tickets go on sale on Friday, May 5th. And for more information, go to wbez.org/events.
Is it too soon to ask for a refill? Is that okay? Are we recording now? I don't remember how to make a podcast. It's been too long. New studio. Who this? I got it. I got this.
Hi, everyone. I'm Heben.
And I'm Tracy.
And welcome to Another Round with Heben and Tracy.
Oh, my God. We're back in the studio.
Back in the stude.
Back in the saddle once again.
We're back in the saddle once again. Ladies and gentlemen, Heben and Tracy.
Having Another Round 2. Electric Boogaloo.
What's a boogaloo?
I don't know. It's a movie.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Boogaloo? This is already a disaster.
I thought that was a whale.
That's beluga.
Okay, those sound so similar.
Beluga Boogaloo. I will watch the shit out of that movie. First, before we talk about the show, we'll do that in a second.
Sure,
I need to tell you about how your children, in your absence, have been acting up.
My children?
Yes. Absolutely.
I felt like they're my kids.
Just like any couple. You know, you need to get your daughter. Let me tell you what your daughter did today.
What'd she do?
But no, I felt kind of like mom, dad's like overseas on business, and the kids are just like running around, not listening to me, and I'm just like, oh, wait till your daddy gets home.
Tweeting at you all crazy.
Wait, I don't tweet at me all reckless. Like, ooh, okay, ooh, you just wait. You just wait.
Well, Dad's home.
Your children have missed you, as have I.
Y'all so much.
What's going on today?
Well, first of all, Another Round 2, back in the habit.
Another Round 2, Heben and Tracy strike back. I can't think of any more sequels.
Yo, did you watch The Lion King 1.5?
No.
We've talked about this, right?
I've not watched it.
You know what this is not? Another Another Round 1.5.
You know what it is? Another Round 2, Heaven's Pride.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh, my God.
Deception.
Disgrace. He asked for trouble the moment he came. And the elephants are stomping. And
the percussion, though. It was on it.
Let him run.
Let's just sing this song for the entire episode.
Let him hide. That's not it.
No.
But do not forget what we cannot forgive.
And he is not
one of us.
Okay.
I don't know the rest.
He
has
will
never
be one. They were so mean to him.
You know,
let him chill.
Let Kovu live.
He need a family.
He need a family.
He couldn't choose who his daddy was. Get off his back.
Yo. Eternal story. Sorry.
Sins of the father.
Oh my God.
Okay, let's focus.
It's like no one's ever listened to me before, so I'm saying all the things now.
Please, you know what? Continue.
Tracy knows
all
my heart.
All this show's gonna be.
Oh. We do actually have a really fun show today.
The entire episode is just gonna be an interview, because the interview is so dope. We just want everybody to bathe in the
glow.
Fountain.
Oh yes.
That is Black girl glory.
Yes.
Of me. And Heben, and the one and only Janet Mock.
Janet is the author of the New York Times bestseller Redefining Realness, about her life as a transgender woman. She's worked as a correspondent for Entertainment Tonight, contributing editor for Marie Claire. She's been a host of MSNBC's news and culture series So Popular. She writes all the things in all the places.
Yeah. She's so smart.
Yes.
She's so freaking smart.
It's a little rude.
Right? I mean, how are you just going to be like the smartest and the prettiest?
Yes,
and
Janet
have
Mock
the
does.
finest husband and just like have the bombest wardrobe. Like, what about us? Leave something for everybody else.
So today we're going to ask her, how do we be you?
Yes. So we're going to sit down and talk to Janet about her new film that's coming on HBO. It's called The Trans List. She produced it, and she conducted all of the interviews where she's just talking to some very, very prominent figures in the trans community. We talk about the cis white gaze, which is a thing. It's a definite thing. We cannot talk to Janet and not talk about Beyonce. And it's the return of pew pew pew. Pew pew pew. Meow 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 meow.
What?
It was kind of like a cat.
At the end, it was getting a little feral.
A little weird. Sorry about that, y'all. Sorry about that. Let's do it. How about a cheers, ladies,
Yes.
to
brown women hanging out.
to brown people just hanging out and living
hanging
life
out.
and finding a refuge from the shitty ass world outside. I've had a day.
Shout out to Trump's America.
We're just living in it.
We're just trying to make it.
Clawing our way through.
So this cocktail, we're calling it the Janet.
What's in the cocktail?
It is ginger ale, Jack. I think I'm already drunk. I'm so slow.
Yeah.
Ginger ale, Jack, and a couple limes.
It's delicious.
Welcome to the show, Janet Mock,
Welcome.
author,
Woo.
thinker extraordinaire.
Oh, thank you.
And movie producer now, right?
Yes.
I know. Bitch moving up in the world.
Hey.
Do it.
I kind of want to start at the beginning.
Like Baby Janet?
Baby Janet.
Yeah.
Baby Janet.
So you were born in Hawaii, making you maybe the second most famous person from Hawaii.
Yeah.
Besides the one, Barack Obama. Besides him, I feel like growing up there is so different from growing up in any other of the 49 states. Like what is home for you?
What is home for me? I guess it'd be anywhere where my mother's couch is. My mother and my brothers, having them around. So my mom, they actually just moved to Denver. So it's really bizarre not to go to Hawaii this year because I usually always go there around Thanksgiving. And that's where I spend time with my family and my siblings. But growing up in Hawaii was amazing. So first of all, it's like mostly people of color. And when I say people of color, I mean truly people of color, not just black folk, right? Like we kind of like use that as a euphemism sometimes to like soften things up for white people.
Yeah.
And then, like, as a person of color, you know, like as a part of this coalition
As a
of,
person
you know,
with a really
linked arms.
great tan, I just think.
Like, you know, it's like Asians and Polynesians, and then you
Word.
have like the transient military people that come in and out, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like this hodgepodge of experiences. It really is like a mixed plate, but still like being black is something of note. Like in my high school and middle school, I think it was just me, my brother, and maybe another mixed black kid. Like I remember like when we were in the 7th grade, we were in summer fun. So we used to go to this day camp at the recreation center. And we taught everyone, for some reason, we ended up in the front teaching everyone the Tootsie Roll.
Okay.
It was like one of those things where it's like you don't notice that stuff until you reflect back on. And it's like, why are we, the two black kids, teaching everyone to dance? Or how do we get this role of like being the dancers that are instructing, or not even instructing, but everyone looking and watching? You know that feeling when you ever gone to a wedding that's not like a black wedding?
Yes.
And
Oh
you
my
go,
God,
and then
you
all of a
did so
sudden there's a
good.
circle around you.
Teach
and
me
you're
how
like,
to do that thing.
how did I have an audience all of a sudden?
Teach me how to Douglas. Is that what it's called?
But you know, my grandmother is full Native Hawaiian, so she's indigenous to the islands. Her entire family's indigenous to the islands. And it was interesting to grow up with this sense of like being around folk of color, having this indigenous like sovereignty movement also being there, having this space of like gender nonconformity also being just kind of normal and natural, like every
What do you
day.
mean by that?
Like in 7th grade, my dance teacher for hula was a trans woman. And she identified as Mahuvahine, which means trans woman, loosely based in like a colonialized kind of terminology. And she just was there. And it was a way for me to be like, oh, there's someone who's gender nonconforming, who's different, who wasn't necessarily engaged in any kind of like medical transitioning or anything like that. But like her identity as a woman was solid and never questioned. So there's like a very queer sense of identity in Hawaii that I think has to do with this sense of always, at least since America kind of came in and overthrew the monarchy and all of this stuff, that we are these outsiders looking in. And so we have our own kind of culture there. And so it was interesting to grow up in that space. And then also at the same time, growing up partly in Oakland and Dallas with my father's family, where it's just black folk from Louisiana and Texas who are very Southern, very Baptist, and having these two different like polar opposites of existences, but still always growing up around folk of color. The first time I ever was around like white people overwhelmingly was when I did like a semester for some random reason in Rhode Island. Exchange program, by the way. Student exchange. I chose this. I chose that life.
What was that like?
Rhode Island.
Was it like culture shock for you?
Well, it's so weird because I'm writing about it in my next book right now. Like I'm in the midst of like revisions.
Exclusive.
I'm exploring that sense of like finally having my like blackness and being a person of color like really be this thing that I have to talk about or explain, and like dealing with the microaggressions and all of these things that I didn't really have to deal with in Hawaii, Oakland, or Dallas. I never had to deal with those things as much because I was mostly around folk who at least reflected me in some way.
Word. What were like some meaningful pop culture representations for you in your childhood?
Destiny's Child.
Yes.
But of
That's
course,
like-
Oh my God. Yes.
In my first book, I literally wrote a homage to Destiny's Child in one of the
Oh my
chapters. It just
God.
was like they were so pivotal, like seeing them. And I liken it to when Oprah Winfrey said she saw Diana Ross and the Supremes on the Ed Sullivan Show. Like seeing them like was this like light bulb moment that, not only could I be beautiful and powerful, but I could exist and be seen. And it was okay to be seen and to be celebrated. And that the way that my hair moved and the way that I could adapt my hair and the way that my skin color could be so many different ways and all this stuff, like it was great and it was awesome and it was amazing. And to have that and be like, yes, bitches, look at these girls. They're killing it. Like they're at the top of the charts. Like, you know what I mean? There was a way for me to be like, oh yeah, this is a way that I can be young, because there's also the intersection of youth. And I was a TRL kid, so I watched TRL every day after school. Like it was just as important as watching, for some reason, The Golden Girls and Designing Women on Lifetime back to back.
Listen, those
Do you remember that?
shows, yes, I loved Designing Women. Oh my God. Have you seen Designing?
I don't know.
Julia
would love
Sugarbaker. Yes, she has
You
the
would love
best
it.
monologues in the entire world. Please go look
What
it
is
up.
the premise of the show?
So it's these, God, I don't know if I remember. Like
The
four-
Sugarbaker design firm, basically. There
Yeah.
are 4 women who work in this office. It's Annie Potts, who plays like the head designer. There's Julia Sugarbaker, who's like the older sister.
You better know the whole plot.
Delta
cast.
Burke is her like pageant heyday sister, who's
So
kinda
Delta
like
would be
flighty.
kind of like the Rue McClanahan of the Golden Girls.
Yes.
Gotcha.
The
Yeah.
Blanche.
And then you had like the secretary, who is I'm blanking on the actress's name, but she's in a lot of movies now playing like the mom role. But it was like the 4 of them, and they were killing it on dialogue. They had like this black. I don't think he identified as queer, but he came off very queer to me.
Yeah.
Meshack Taylor.
I think his name was Anthony though.
On the
And
show.
then the older woman would sing "Black Man, Black Man." Do you remember that?
I don't remember that part.
Wait.
The old kind of like she was like slightly senile, and she'd come in and she was like,
Black man, where have you gone to? Black man, where did you go?
Bernice, what the hell are you singing about?
Since we're still talking about Baby Janet, who was your first non-familial hero?
"Oh, then I would have to say it was my best friend Wendy for sure."
Tell us about Wendy.
Wendy, I met her in the 7th grade. I was at a playground. She passed by. She was an out trans girl, 12 years old. No, I think she was 13 years old. I was 12.
And is this in Hawaii?
At Kalakaua Intermediate School in Kalihi. What's up, Kalihi? So Wendy, she's Filipino. She ran away from home, I think in the 7th grade, and she moved with her grandparents. And she was just this green-haired, long-legged, high short shorts wearing, volleyball playing, flute tooting trans girl that I was like, when she tried to approach me and she was like trying to be my friend, I was very resistant at first. And I was resistant because I think that I knew that being friends with her would become like this life-changing thing. And it was, because she reflected me in ways that I had not even known that I needed at the time. She showed me that it was possible to be a trans girl, that it's okay, that it's healthy, that nothing is wrong with me. She introduced me to a whole wider network of trans women too in Hawaii that really enabled me to like find my own sense of freedom in my identity.
One of the things, like you were speaking about, like finding a community of people like you, that's something that like really, really struck me in your movie, The Trans List, because I feel like a lot of the women in the film were always talking about, you know, I went here and this is where I found my people, I found my tribe, I found my folks. What for you was the hardest part about conducting these interviews? Because you conducted all the interviews yourself.
I think the hardest part was even before I even got into the interviewing chair was selecting the folk who were going to be in it, because this is my community. A lot of these people are like deeply rooted folk that I call on to be around me, right? And so like to make those decisions to say that my name is on this project, that I'm a producer of it, that I'm in control of the editorial content of it, and selecting the people that are in it, and like leveraging identity points or intersections of identity to say that because we had this intersection, I don't think we can have this other person in. That was the hardest part for me. And then the next level was just sitting down and being present to show up to just listen and listen to someone as they're giving testimony, because I'm making people walk through their entire lives for 2 hours to get 5 minutes in a film.
Right.
One day we shot 4 people in one day in Los Angeles. And it was Buck Angel, Shane Ortega, Miss Major Griffin Gracie, and Bambi Salcedo. And at the end of that, me and Bambi were in tears because I was so exhausted. She had come off of a red eye from doing activist work around trans Latina rights in Florida. And she's sitting there and she's just in her red dress with her red lip and her blonde short crop hair. And she's just like, honey, I have nothing to give to you. And she's giving us everything. And so like for me, like one of my favorite moments that happens in the film is when Bambi, a lot happens and she takes care of herself in that moment and she leaves the chair.
I remember that scene.
I fought really hard to keep that moment in.
Why did you want to keep it in?
I wanted to keep it in to show that sometimes we have to take care of ourselves and that though we come off as strong and resilient, that sometimes it's too much. And saying that, no, I have some boundaries. I need to take care of myself. And keeping that empty chair for me symbolized a part of that. But at the same time, it was also representative to me of the folk who cannot return to that chair, right? The folk who have been targeted, pushed, who don't want to leave their homes, who are in this current era, in an age of Trump, the folk who have to go back in the closet.
I was deeply moved by that silence. Almost.
You love a silence too.
Listen, I love me a silence.
Love you a silence, girl.
No, I was so struck by the idea just of being like, yo, pause. I gotta tap out for a second. I was like, yo, reminder to myself, I can do that.
That's real.
I need that sometimes.
And it's not weak. That's strength to know your boundaries. Strength
Yes,
to
I was like, yo, respect.
Being like, listen, I need a second
Let's
to
just
gather
pause.
myself.
I'm gonna take a minute, deal with the things that are coming up for me.
That's the thing that I didn't know that I could do until like a year ago. Swear to God. Like I always felt that like if somebody asked me a question, if somebody wanted something from me, like I had to give it just because they asked for it. That shit ain't true. That's ridiculous.
Word.
I'd be like, no all the time now. Tracy, good morning. No.
No.
Absolutely not.
I will not. I will not allow it.
no, slow down a little bit. It's a gift to be here and share myself with you.
You're welcome.
To quote one Kanye West, my presence is a present. Kiss my ass.
That was beautiful. Beautifully
Thank you.
recited.
Thank you.
Very Maya Angelou.
Snaps.
Maya.
Snaps for heaven.
Sister Maya Angelou. You heard that right.
Heaven, Angelou. So when I was watching, one of the things that I was surprised to see was old pictures of the interviewees as the assigned genders that they were born in. And I was surprised because in my head, and this could just be like a conjecture that I just like brought up, I feel like one of the really perverse things that cis people always want to know is what did you used to look. First, they want to know is what's in your pants, and then second is what did you used to look like. So I wasn't expecting to see people like pictures of those people. So talk to me about how your decision to include those for one, and two, how did you navigate the straight cis gaze while you were putting this film together?
So I was also the only trans person that was a part of the production team.
Interesting. Wait.
Beyond hair and makeup. For
We'd
hair
be
and-
out here for hair and makeup.
So I made sure
Squad.
that trans folk were doing the hair and makeup so that when our subjects came in, they felt most comfortable with these people not trying to transform them, but making
Oh my
them present them
God.
at them best, right? Because like sometimes I feel like people underestimate the power of a good hair and makeup person
Listen.
to calm you, to make you feel secure, to make you feel strong when you
Oh
go out
my
in the
God.
world
Yo,
in
there
front of that
has been-
camera.
Any black woman who has gone into a Sephora and had
real.
some white woman do her makeup knows this struggle.
And both of the women who are on our team were black trans women.
Yes.
So we employ black
They
trans
know.
women who know,
They
how to
know.
make, who know how to make everyone glow.
Hmm.
But also the next piece was one of the harder tasks was talking with my fellow producers and the editor Joanna about why we need to minimize the amount of childhood photos. I'm not an executive producer. I did not fund this project. But because it's a visual medium and because people are talking about their childhood, many of the portraits had before photos. If you want to call it before photos, I'd like to call them childhood photos.
Yes.
And for a lot of people, it was like, I said that whatever they are safe to share with us, they can share with us. Obviously, I can't like police what people are comfortable with. And trans people all have different relationships to those photos. For many years of my life, I made my mother put them in a box and not have them displayed. I made my grandmother take them down from being a kid and a baby and all these things all the way through. Like I didn't have those photos. And then I came to a point in my life where I became more comfortable with those photos and I was okay with sharing some of them.
Yeah.
What was the point for you?
I think that the shift probably happened in 2012. But then there's also another shift where I kind of stopped telling my own story. I don't think it's necessary to like give all of myself to everyone. So there's like a first grade photo. I have a 7th grade photo. Actually, that's it. So 2 photos that I share, and those are public domain now. And what's sad is that one of the top things that's searched on any prominent trans person is, Janet Mock before. Like that's one of the top things. And then, the next is Janet Mock hair and then Janet Mock boyfriend.
Listen.
But
Yes.
I understand
Listen.
the other two. Honestly,
Listen.
I get it.
Furious Googles from the two of
I
us.
may have Googled one of those two.
We did some
a couple
fierce
days ago.
Googles.
But for me, it was like, it's also respecting the agency of each subject to tell us no. And a couple
Yeah.
of them did. And so in some of the portraits, in the portrait interviews, you won't see any childhood photos involved. But because we cover that area, and it's a visual medium, it was kind of necessary for some of them.
Are there certain other things that you avoided in the making of this film?
I openly didn't talk about people's transition because I feel like it's one of the first things that folk
Absolutely.
ask trans people, and it's also the least interesting area for them to answer because they're so practiced and studied around it. They lived it and experienced it. They talked about it in their personal lives, and they gone and soundbited it. So it's not very interesting. So a lot of the times what I asked them about was what did they see themselves doing when they grew up, and then all of that would come out. The obstacles around that would come out. People talked about addiction, talked about masking certain parts of their lives, and they were able to talk about it in ways that enabled it to, we mark on the social medical transition, but it does not become the focus.
Word.
And the one time when we do talk about the body in any kind of explicit way, we have someone who's engaged in sex work who talks about it, which is Buck Angel, who's our porn star in it, who's a trans man, who's a porn star, and he has his self-made moniker, which is a man with a pussy. So like it's this person who's like unapologetically about centering desire, pleasure politics, and the body. And what I found so fascinating with Buck Angel's interview is a sense of like, he has had sex with every kind of person you can think of. And I mean, every kind of body, however remixed it was or tweaked or not, like he has touched so many different kinds of bodies. And I thought like, wow, that's the kind of perspective we would want in this film, to talk about the body. So all these nagging questions people want to know, like, how do you have sex? And what is it like to be partners? And all these kind of things. Like we had the perfect person to center and to talk about that. And I'm a sex positive, intersectional, Black feminist. So for me, it was important to not shy away from the fact that so many trans folk, from Bambi Salcedo and Miss Major Griffin Gracie and Buck Angel have engaged in the sex trade, especially in a world that doesn't necessarily take care of them or center their bodies and experiences.
Yeah. A lot of the stories are very tough. And I feel like with any marginalized group, our stories always seem to center on the sorrow and the pain because they fit in very nicely with the narrative of the mainstream, right? Like, oh, these poor so-and-so people, they have such tough lives, and like, how did you navigate staying true to those actual stories and not feeding into that sort of desire for like trans tragedy.
Yeah, I know. What was so interesting for me was the sense of like, I didn't also want to not talk about those experiences, right? And so it was just, how do we then weave them in so that when we talk about Miss Major being knocked out at Stonewall and then being politicized while incarcerated. And so it was a sense of like ensuring that we were always contextualizing someone's story. So it wasn't just someone telling us, I was a drug addict and I was on the streets and I was trying to figure out how I was going to make my next, have my next meal, blah, blah, blah. It was about holding the systems that make people so vulnerable accountable. And so for me, it was always the constant contextualizing of each person's traumatic story. And then also pairing it with the sense of like, not just resilience for the sake of being like, we're like these super powered, marginalized people who make something out of nothing, though it is true.
Listen, magic out of
Every
nothing.
day.
And for me, like so many of those stories happened with trans women of color who were in the film. We have Laverne Cox, who talks about before being on Orange is the New Black and the cover of Time magazine, she was in rent court. She was working in a bar that was known as the drag queen capital of the world as a trans woman. And that was highly problematic for her, but she needed to pay rent, right? No one was paying her rent for her. So contextualizing what her journey is.
And now she's on a CBS
Right.
drama.
She's on CBS. Like, how many
She's on
black
a
people are
CBS
on
drama?
CBS, first of all?
First of all,
Wait, what?
her new show is on CBS.
It's called Doubt. Her literal title is like Ivy League lawyer.
Yes.
Wow.
Like, what a time to be alive.
Wow.
Yeah. But it was also like the most close community to me is trans women of color. That's who my work centers around. People can kind of like try to dilute and, smash down and make as basic as and distill my experience in the work that I do. But I center trans girls of color because no one really centers them. And especially in the platform that I have, I try to center them as much as possible. And so for me, it was like, those girls are struggling right now. They're on the streets. They're incarcerated. They're the ones writing me letters from behind bars. And to not include those stories to say that someone else has been there and has made it out, like that was essential to me. And so for me, the gaze, which I loved your question, Tracy, the gaze was those girls, right? And so everything else for me was like, as long as I'm centering them in the work, then everyone else will be served.
Yeah.
And so like I don't need to
I
give
love
them,
that.
I don't need to give them
Yes.
definitions because they know. They don't
gonna
need
write
the
this
definitions
down.
that I learned through academia, through NYU. They don't need that stuff or through a Bell Hooks book. They got it, they got it through the lived experience. And so just by showing them that someone else has been there, they then hopefully have some kind of a blueprint to make it out.
I'm literally writing that down. That was beautiful.
You started the hashtag Girls Like Us. I didn't realize this until I was doing research for this. But that was in response to Trump before Trump was even a thing we
That
had to
was
legitimately
crazy.
care about.
I forgot about that.
was
Oh my
so
God, yeah.
crazy.
It's because of Jenna Talikova, the Miss Universe Canada contestant, who was pushed out because they said that she was delegitimized because she didn't disclose that she was assigned male at birth.
Right. So this is before the Trump presidency.
Yeah. What year was this?
2012.
Such a simple time,
It
apparently.
was because of a beauty pageant.
I had seen this hashtag before
Yeah.
as a way to share trans women's stories.
That's what led me to you and figuring out who you
wow.
were. It was a hashtag.
Twitter.
But I hadn't.
Twitter.
Old Twitter.
Oh, Twitter.
Old
Shout out to
Twitter.
old Twitter.
We miss you. R.I.P.
When it was just so small and just, it felt so much more communal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like avoid my mentions now. I never used, like the last 2 years, it just shifted. But I think that's why I'm also like more in tune with Instagram now.
Ooh.
I
tell
find
me
it to be more positive, more
True.
Yes, that highlights on point. Here's
Yes.
this emoji.
Yes.
Like
She's
I
doing a
write
hair flip
the
emoji.
hair flip emoji.
Yes,
Anytime-
please.
anytime like I see a pretty photo of someone, I'm like all caps beauty
Yes.
exclamation point. That is like my number one comment. I'm always like beauty.
Melissa Harris Perry has the same opinion of Instagram. She's like, I don't fuck with Twitter, but Instagram is my
Yes.
shit. And I get it. I get that.
I think
much
it's
more
because you
positive
can't
and
really
pretty.
search unless the search is different because you have to search hashtags to find. So like because I don't really hashtag my photos, you can't find me unless you're really looking for me.
Yeah.
So you have to
Yeah.
go on my feed. There's a lot more effort, whereas you can't put like black woman and then troll all people who wrote black and
Yeah,
woman next to each
right,
other, right? So it's
right.
like harder to find people that you don't know and follow.
Uh-huh.
And so there's like a different gatekeeping, I think.
That's true. I really have to go to the bathroom.
Oh,
How do we feel about that community?
I'm
can we
fine.
do refills while Heben is unfilling herself? That was crass.
That
shouldn't
was
have said that.
wild.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
But
I'm staying here.
Yay! Okay, so we're gonna talk with Janet more about all of the things. But first, can you pay my bills?
Oh,
can you
my
pay my
God.
telephone bills? Can you pay my podcast bills? You see what I did?
it's really hard to miss, Tracy. It's really hard to miss.
Woo! We're gonna pay some bills. Support for Another Round comes from Squarespace. With Squarespace, you get a unique domain experience that's simple to set up and an all-in-one platform to help you create a beautiful website. Which brings me to a game of Would You Rather Internet Edition. And here is where we invite Tyler Sorensen from BuzzFeed's creative department into the studio to ask me one hard Would You Rather question about the internets. Hi, Tyler.
Hey, Tracy.
What's up?
Not much. I have your question, though, if you want to
Let's
answer
do
that.
it. Let's do it.
Here it is. It's, would you rather your employer see your search history or your parents?
Easy answer. I would rather have my employer see my search history because I can blame it on working for a company as strange as BuzzFeed. Like, oh, I had to look up this very embarrassing thing because I'm researching it for a post. But I would have no excuses for my mom. I mean, I guess it could have been just be like, no, it's for work.
So you don't really care who
I
sees
don't care.
it? Okay.
Show it to the world. Get your unique domain today at squarespace.com. If you sign up for a year, the domain is completely free, and you can also save 10% off your first purchase with the offer code Another Round, as in the title of the wonderful show that you are listening to right now. Make your Make your next move with Squarespace.
And we are back with the lovely and talented Janet Mock.
Yay!
We were talking about the hashtag Girls Like Us. So the hashtag came before we really had to genuinely contend with a Trump anything,
Yeah.
let
This is
alone a
before-
Trump presidency.
He was just kind of like the owner of the Miss Universe pageant.
Yeah.
Guy with a lot
And
of
the
money.
Miss USA organization, right? And so, like, during that time, I actually think that he didn't really jump on the bandwagon so hard. He was just like, as long as she has the papers to prove that she's a woman, we're fine, right? And that can look so many different ways depending on where you live. She was in Canada, so they allowed her to change her gender marker and all this stuff. So she had the documentation.
Is that easier in Canada?
I don't know if it's easier, but I think that they're able to change. Whereas in the United States, it's not as consistent.
Yeah.
So in some states you can change quite easily.
Sure.
And in others you can't. And in some you have to prove that you have had bottom surgery in order to change gender markers. And so like what Hillary Clinton did so well in 2010, her State Department actually passed a regulation that shut down the requirement that you have to have bottom surgery in order to change your gender marker on your passport, which then enabled trans people a back door to be able to have identification that reflected their lived gendered experience without necessarily having to have medical intervention. And that was something that was just quietly done in 2010. And so now what's happening in the post-Trump election is that trans folk grassroots movements are actually raising money to ensure that trans folk can get access to paying for a passport, because that shit is expensive, which people don't remember. You know, sometimes like, you know, $110 is a lot for a lot of
Listen,
people. And then
that's
in
a bill.
addition to doing all of the paperwork.
Yeah.
So they're raising money to ensure that trans folk can have access to that before it possibly gets overturned in any way. And Hillary Clinton only did that because a trans woman wrote her a letter, which she talked about. She was like, she never knew that it was an issue or a problem. She was like, what I can do in my State Department is shut down that requirement. And so it's just because she listened to a constituent that
look
she
at Hillary.
changed that. Yeah.
I can't remember where I was reading this, but one of the things was that like people can't really see the demonstrable skills that Hillary Clinton has. And one of those skills is listening.
Say more.
Listening. That is not a skill that is valued really in most humans.
Because it's not a skill. It's not a skill that's bombastic or sexy in the way that
Right.
it's telegenic.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like someone nodding is not going
It's
to
not
be interesting.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
anything.
And I also think that her and President Obama both have this sense of wanting to understand and learn. They have that scholarly academic
Absolutely.
part of
Right,
themselves
right.
where it's like, I constantly want to challenge myself to know more. some of the reporting that's coming out is that, President-elect Trump doesn't even want to do the briefings
Right.
right now. Whereas that's something that, Obama thrives. He loves that. He loves sitting there and listening and thinking about solutions and, things that we don't even know about. Like, I just think about the time when I saw the portrait of them, which broke my heart, the portrait of President Obama and Trump sitting there and
Martin Luther King's bust in the background. Looking like death.
just so much.
Like, kill me, please.
Looking like death.
No, but just so much. Like, it was just a lot for me. It was like, it was almost, and this is not, this is so wrong. And the Britney stans are going to be so mad at me.
This is a
But,
safe space, girl. We got you.
Beyonce and Britney Spears, in the height of their careers, are both sharing the same stage. Beyonce performed her entire album at the VMAs, basically, and Britney came on after. They share the same stage, and it doesn't matter what your talent level is. It does not matter. Your whiteness will get you in, and so
in anywhere.
and so for me, it will get you in. Like, it's like, okay,
Let me take a sip on that one.
and everyone will applaud. And
Sure.
But for me, it was heartbreaking to see him sharing space with the man that questioned his legitimacy as just an American.
Yeah.
And that was the start of Trump's political career, was the questioning of Barack
That
Obama.
undermining, yeah.
And that was the rallying cry for that constituency.
For
of white
racists
folk
everywhere.
Of, the alt-right
dinner bell
that,
for racists everywhere.
came up and rallied behind him and got him elected through the Electoral College. So.
I'm getting depressed. Let's go back to Beyonce. So I understand that you are a bit of a Beyonce fan.
I am.
A little bit. What level Beehive member are you? Like, on a scale from she's cool to that girl on Twitter who got evicted because she spent her rent money on Beyonce tickets. Like, where do you fall on this spectrum?
I think I am in the middle. I am someone who has a very deep relationship with Beyonce that feels almost like sisterly, even though I am like the lost sister, like that Beyonce character on YouTube. From that,
Beyonce is so
like
funny.
I'm like
She's
that. Like,
so good.
they don't see me. I'm holding a fan in the background. Like, I'm her. I'm her to that level, but like, I'm not gonna go on Twitter and like defend her right to live, because Beyonce is fine.
You know what I was thinking about in the shower this morning?
Tell me more, Tracy.
Many things, but I was thinking about how perfect and beautiful it was that when people were threatening to boycott Beyonce, she made shirts.
She made a shirt.
That said, boycott Beyonce.
Y'all.
That's one of the most baller ass moves.
Y'all.
Wait, Tracy, the last time I saw you was on the
At the
train
Beyonce-
from the
yes,
City
at the
Field.
show.
We took trains
Wait,
back home.
we
after,
did.
after
We
the City
sure
Field
did.
formation concert.
It was letting out. I was just like,
we were
drained
sweating.
of everything.
We ran out probably after the last set. I think we both were in the front of the train.
train.
It was like, it's time to
Gotta
go.
go. Gotta
See, but that's how much of a stand I'm not. I didn't stay for the last two songs.
stayed for the last
After she
songs.
did her waterworks routine, I was like, time to walk up the steps.
Thought her waterworks were like
I walked for a
gotta
little
gotta
bit.
get in front of
Freedom,
everybody.
right?
And then I ran to the what train was it? The 7 train.
It was a 7 because it was all the way out
And I
of
was
City
like,
Field. Yeah, I was like, oh my god, she knows who I am. It's
Wait,
like,
you
oh,
take the
yeah.
train?
I
Right?
do. Even in full hair and makeup, when I have to go and like shoot something, I'm like on
like, no.
the train. If it's on someone else's dime, I'm like, please get a card. I'm on the train with the people. Yes.
So speaking of Beyonce, we put together a spin on a game that we like to play called Would You Rather. And all of these Would You Rathers are Beyonce themed. So, would you rather know the true backstory of the elevator video or know whether or not Jay-Z actually cheated on Beyonce, leading to the creation of Lemonade? Which would you rather know?
I feel like I already know the second one, so I would rather know the first.
What do you think about the second one?
Sorry.
That's obvious that he was running around doing some stuff. But I want to amend my option.
Okay,
And I just want to hear the audio of the elevator. That's what I want. I want access to the audio because all I have is visual.
You right.
I want the
You
audio.
right.
I want to hear what Solange's saying.
What do you think she said?
She said, fuck you, nigga.
You low down nigga.
You thought.
My sister is at the top. She's the queen of the
How
world.
dare you? How dare you? I'm
Try it
assuming that's the
again.
entirety.
Try that shit again.
Entirety of the track.
Right. Call me
dare
another
you.
bitch is what she said. Call me one more bitch. See what happens to
One
you.
more again.
Would you rather babysit Blue Ivy or babysit Jay-Z when he's really drunk?
Blue Ivy any day because I feel like she is so shady.
You
She
think
is-
so?
I feel like she is so shady.
shitty
and,
ass baby.
And not like in the precocious, like, I know I'm smart kind of way. And like, I know I'm knowing, but like, I feel like she's really like, I'm not dealing with you today. Like, I'm not doing this. Like her VMA, when she's like talking to her mom, she's like, I'm not doing this. Like
Yeah.
the hand
She already
flip, and
has
she's
the
like,
hand,
She's
yes.
like,
Yeah,
she's
I've
like,
already come here to this award show. Like,
Bitch,
what is
right?
this? This is MTV?
What do you want?
Yes.
Like who watches MTV
Right.
anymore? Like I feel like she
How am I not in Paris right now?
she
Where's
is just
the
like
yacht?
a all-knowing being. And so like I would
Absolutely.
love to just, if I could spend an hour for free, I would like
Yeah.
babysit for free to just sit with her as she's getting her hair braided.
Agreed.
Yes.
Also,
By Kim
Jay-Z drunk
Kimball.
doesn't seem very fun. What kind of drunk do you think?
I feel like
Jay-Z
he's
is?
like a lonely in the corner drunk.
That's exactly what I was
Yes.
gonna say. Just sitting, just like
He
thinking
sounds
about
boring.
shit. Yeah, he's probably one of those drunks where like he's drunk, but you don't really know he's drunk because he didn't act drunk. And if you're drunk with him, you feel out judged and stuff because you're just like and he's just in the corner. I hate those
Chillin'.
drunks. Would you rather only be able to eat food from Beyonce's garbage for the rest of your life, or spill a glass of red wine down her white suit on live television? I just got word from the control room that I drunkenly mispronounced the word glass and apparently said grass. So I'm going to say it one more time.
You said grass?
I didn't know.
The grass ceiling. I'm so sorry, Tracy. I'm so sorry. Let's carry on.
You cannot give me puns at this hour. I'm too drunk for it. Okay. Would you rather only be able to eat food from Beyonce's garbage for the rest of your life, or spill a glass of red wine down her white suit on live television?
Oh, she's a vegan now,
tough.
so it's just vegetables in that garbage. So
Is
I
she
don't
for real a vegan?
Right. Is she
No,
really
she
a
is.
vegan?
But I think
thought
she
she was for a few
she doesn't
months.
use labels, so she has a plant-based diet, as she calls it. So I She has a plant-based. She has not. It's just like when she was like not a feminist yet. She was like, I
Yeah.
just believe
Feminist-based
in
diet.
Yeah, but it was
Feminist-based
like I
diet.
believe that women are equal to men. You know, that was like her politic before.
And she's
And
like,
now
yo,
she's
I
like,
got
I'm a-
Chimamanda for you. Bam.
Here's the definition.
Yes.
Uh,
In case you thought I didn't know.
Oh,
Now
but
you
like the
know.
beehive coming after me for years and years and years. I think I'll eat her garbage because I don't think I would be able to survive.
Yeah.
Real.
The
No,
beehive being
like-
like, you dirtied our queen, you soiled her. Like I wouldn't be able
You
to.
soiled our queen. That sounds so filthy. Ugh. So we're going to move to Pew Pew Pew. This is our rapid fire question segment. Pew, pew, pew. First, I need to know if your husband has brothers or like cousins or like anybody that I can
Everyone
marry.
needs to know the answer to this question.
So Aaron is the only brown person in his entire family. He
you
is the
kidding?
only
What?
child of a white Midwestern woman from North Dakota who married the one black man that went to her college.
You literally
Oh my
have the only
God.
one of him.
I do.
Yo!
This interview's over. Goodbye.
Well, I have a very grown man. Aaron turned 40 this year, so he has no single friends. They're all married or on the track. So it's like, you know,
You said married or on the track?
on the track to get married, meaning like they have
Oh,
long time
I thought you meant at
girlfriends.
the race course. I was like, they got money? Because listen, I take those too. I cannot. Your wedding was beautiful. How dare
It
you?
really was.
That's the
It
question
really,
is how dare you?
really was.
Well, the only reason why everyone got to really see it was, and I always talk about how Black women who have gained access, especially in media or wherever, in whatever space they're in, they've always supported me. I think about from Melissa Harris Perry and Bell Hooks to Amsala, who designed my dress, who's a Black woman.
So beautiful.
To the editor in chief, Kia Miner at Brides Magazine. A Black woman runs Brides Magazine. By the way,
Brides
people don't know
Magazine.
this.
I would
But
have
like
had
that's
no
the reason why my
idea.
wedding was covered. She reached out to me. She was like, "I want to have a sit down with you," and like all of this stuff. It all happened because of the Black sisterhood. And so like for me, it was like it was amazing and magical. Not just because I was surrounded by community and the people that I love and my husband and his family, But because of this sense of like I felt cradled and taken care of in the sense of being able to then share parts that I'm comfortable with my marriage and wedding with the world.
Did you cry?
I did. Me and Aaron were a mess. I walked down the aisle with a string quartet playing Halo from Beyonce. So Beyonce was a part of my day.
Heaven's dead. Bye, Heaven.
On a beach on the island that I grew up with my family all there, my mother and father being in the same room since I was like 4 or 5 years old.
Wow.
Jumping the broom, all of those things. So it was like a magical day with fried chicken, with lomi lomi salmon and Kahlua pig, like all of that stuff, all the stuff that was a part of me was there. Also in full glam with highlighter on point.
Listen.
With my best friend doing
When
my
is
makeup.
it never on point though? I feel like I appreciate how humble you're trying to be.
Yes!
It's cute. It's
cute.
so
It's
cute.
cute.
It's adorable. Everybody wants to know your skincare routine.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. I use, and I have no endorsements with anyone. So
You need some companies. Give her all the stuff.
I use acne.org cleanser because I have acne prone skin, because I have oily skin,
Same.
which keeps you young, keeps the wrinkles away, keeps you moisturized.
Wait, I'm writing this down.
So acne.org cleanser. Then I follow it up with a Kiehl's toner. Then I use micellar water to like wipe off makeup and stuff.
Do you have a terrible roommate story?
Oh God, I'm writing that right now for my next book.
Ooh.
It is, yeah. So I signed up for grad school just on a whim because a friend suggested it. I had never known that grad school was something that was possible for me. And I found these roommates on a NYU message board. I found that one of them became one of my best friends, and the other one was just like so problematic, beyond problematic, and so authoritative for just no reason, and just was like showed like her whiteness as a sense of like I own everything and I'm entitled to all of the things. And I had 1 year of my life where I just kind of stayed in the room, and the only time I would come out was to watch Grey's Anatomy. That was the only time I would come out was to watch the second season of Grey's Anatomy. That was it. And so like we had
It
so
bees
many,
like that, Shonda.
we had so we had so
power
many
Shonda
passive aggressive arguments.
Yo.
In a way that like her white girlness was a lot for me. And so it found me eventually living in a studio apartment on the ground floor next to a pizza parlor in Astoria because I just could not live in the East Village with those girls anymore.
Wow.
She was slut shamey and just all kinds of things, just all kinds of problematic
Nobody
stuff.
wants that.
Slut shamey and low key like racist and not knowing it, just like all that, but also like me not having the terminology yet for that stuff.
How did
right?
that come up for you?
Just instincts of just feeling bad and not knowing why, but not having the terminology for it, right? And so like I wasn't like a woke college student. Like I was just someone who was like trying to survive and like, oh, so I'm gonna go to grad school. Great, I'm gonna apply and I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna do it. And, and I'm in grad school now. Now I'm in New York City, and so it's like, oh, I'm here now. Why are these people irritating me? Why does this feel like this? Why does it feel like that? You know, like
Excellent follow-up questions.
So it's like I started asking myself all these questions as I was seeking and trying to figure out, and also just trying to survive, and just being like thinking in this whole like bizarre where like everyone's okay and it's fine and it like wasn't fine, and it took me years to find the terminology to like describe what, like to find like that was it. It was slut shaming, and that was it. The bitch was jealous, and that was it. Like you know,
The bitch was jealous.
She had bad roots. She took it out on me. That was like a problem. The shoes was stupid. Not my fault. Okay, we're gonna do 2 more quick questions. If your soul, like if human souls have a color, what color do you think your soul is?
coral.
Oh, quick answer. Why coral? Is it your favorite color?
It's the color that makes me feel happiest and secure. It's a color that I wore on my first book cover. It's the color that I keep on returning to. It's like a orangey
so good in
pink.
coral.
You do?
It is. No, I'm telling you, put on some coral. You will.
Tomorrow.
Your life will change.
I'm
Like,
wearing coral head to toe.
it
I will
is-
get coral
It is just like
contacts.
it's like that.
Coral socks. Listen.
Coral
contact. Okay, Kenya Moore.
not colored contact. Coral.
Coral.
Get it right. Get it right.
But coral is the truth. It's like a color that keeps following me.
I believe you. You look so
And
good
it
in
reminds
that
me
book
of like,
cover.
Yeah.
it reminds me of, I think a thing that I probably haven't realized till like right now is like a discovery that you just have. it reminds me of my grandmother's garden, and I spent so much time there. My grandmother lived in a housing project called Ka'aumanu Housing in Oahu, and she would have these birds of paradise, and it reminds me of the orange in the birds of paradise. And I spent so much time in her garden that's why I think probably the root is there, but also just looks good. It pops.
Listen.
That's so beautiful.
Okay. One more question. So this last question is from a very, very big fan of yours. This fan's name is Mercedes. Mercedes wants to know what your favorite Janet Jackson song is.
Oh, Mercedes. The one that always gives me the feels would be Let's Wait a While.
How did I know you were going to say Let's Wait a While? I was like, I hope she says Let's Wait a While so I can sing it. Let's wait a while.
I can't do it. Can I do it? This is a microphone. It's hot.
Yes. No.
Before it's too late, let's wait a while. Wait, you're not singing with me?
I don't know any more of the words.
Oh my God!
She left me.
You don't know any of the other words?
I know Let's Wait a While, okay?
Okay, wow.
I've had a lot to drink.
Destiny's Child sang Let's Wait a While as a tribute to Janet Jackson at a Janet Jackson tribute. And it's one of the most amazing. It's amazing. You have to look it up.
I'm this right now.
Put it in the newsletter.
Okay.
Yes.
Bam. Bam.
No one. She's like, put that in the newsletter. I know you don't got time for it right now. Look it up later. Yes. Oh, I feel so seen.
Well, there's layers to this shit, right? It's not just the time we're talking.
Levels to this shit.
I want to stay here forever. Can we live here? I'm going to go put in a change of address at the post office. Just have all my
I will only
mail
live
sent
with
to the
Janet
stude.
Ma.
What about me? If you don't want to live with me, it's
I
fine.
will only live with Janet and Tracy.
Yay.
This is so beautiful.
This was amazing. I'm late for dinner and I don't even care.
Thank
I
you
wish
so
we could
much
stay
for
here
having
forever. Please come back and hang out.
Oh my God, yes, I'll
This
be
was
back.
the perfect first interview back for another round season 2.
Absolutely.
Oh my God, I feel so honored.
Miss Janet Mock, where can people find you and your work?
You can find me on Twitter at Janet Mock, on Facebook /Janet Mock, on Snapchat and Instagram /Janet Mock. I think I'm very consistent there. And then,
Easy.
and then, you know, the trans list.
Yes, watch it. Y'all,
December
it's
5th,
so
8
good.
p.m.
It's really, really
on
good.
HBO.
I'm going to watch it again. It was wonderful.
Let's wait a while before it's too late. Let's wait a while before we go too far. Let's wait a while before it's too late. Let's wait a while before we go too far. Baby, let's wait a while before it's too late. Before we go too far. We love you, Janet.
Y'all,
What?
it's the holiday season.
I'm so fucking excited.
Oh my goodness.
I'm sorry. I love Christmas.
It's getting cold out. They're
Sorry.
playing Christmas songs forever on the radio, the same 5 ones. I love it.
I love it. I love it all. Sometimes I make up my own lyrics to holiday songs, especially if it's a holiday song that I hate. Now, mind you, there's not a lot of songs that I hate. One that I do hate is Baby It's Cold Outside because it's basically a very pretty sounding date rape. Not
You
cool.
know-
Not cool.
I can hear it.
Right. So I remix it to make it all about consent, right?
Okay.
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 Would you like to hear a sample?
I absolutely would.
Okay, so obviously I'm 2 people now. I'm the
Sure.
I'm the dude and I'm the chick, right?
All right.
And she's like,
So heteronormative.
I really
Tracy.
can't I know. You know what? Maybe I'm
Let's switch it up.
maybe I'm a dude and I'm a dude.
Okay.
I really can't stay. Baby, it's cold outside. I just said no. I respect your decision. Thanks for the invite. Come back anytime.
Consent. It's sexy. Anyways, holiday time for a lot of people means family time. That means seeing the family you love, but also, you know, some of the ones you don't particularly care for that make your blood boil.
When your family gets on your nerves, don't get mad. Don't take it out on yourself. Get even.
Wait, Tracy, no, that's not what we're doing.
What? So if Aunt Gertrude says something that pisses you off, don't lash out at your elders. That's not cute. That's not cool. But call us. Call us, email us, tell us how you dealt with the situation. We want the juice, we want the tea, we want the good, the bad, the frustrating, the randomly life-affirming, the surprising. You know, we want to hear everything that goes on around your family table this holiday season.
Yes. We're going to follow up in a few weeks. We're going to select some listeners to participate. It's going to be an upcoming call-in show. Tracy and I are going to chat with you all about how you did it.
Yeah.
How you just navigated all that.
And just how you doing, you know?
How you
Sometimes
doing,
you need
girl?
somebody to check on you.
Oh, my God,
See how
yes.
you're hanging in there. So here's how it's going to work. If you want to call in and talk to us, like the real us, like actual Heben and actual Tracy, we will talk to you.
Okay.
Leave a message at the following number, 562-448-2899. And if you're curious, that is 562-HIT-BUZZ.
Hey. Hey.
Like hit me on the buzz if you didn't get it.
Hey.
And tell us in 30 seconds or less what your holiday conversations were like, how you navigated them, how you managed to survive. You can also email us at anotherround@buzzfeed.com with your stories. And don't forget to say where you're calling from and how best to reach you so we can chit-chat about it.
Word. I'm so excited for this.
I'm excited to actually talk to our listeners.
Yes.
That's something that's
y'all are
not
so dope.
happened except for in person.
Yeah. Occasionally on Twitter, you know.
Yeah, but voices and stuff.
For real voices.
Mouth talking, as I call it.
Mouth talking.
We can't wait to hear your stories. Send them. And good luck this holiday season.
Listen.
You got it. I believe
You got
in
this.
you. Fuck it up, listeners. So, next week on the show, we're going to be talking all about her, or as other people pronounce it, hair. And we have some really, really important guests. And by important guests, I mean little baby girls talk about their hair.
You know I'm here for this.
You
I
know that
live
my
for this.
body wants to have a baby right now, so I should not listen to any of this.
I'm trying to convince every human I know to have a baby.
Get out. Leave. Get away from me.
Hi, friend. Are you the one that's going to give me a baby? Provide a baby for my life. Seriously, though, we have children talking about their hair.
I like my hair being natural, and I like how it grows out flawless. I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling amazing. I'm feeling inspirational, and I'm feeling like a teacher, and I'm feeling like Beyoncé.
Oh my God!
Y'all, Heaven's eyes just teared up like they do in cartoons.
Yo,
We're like the water
the
level
anime eyes.
raises. Oh my God!
I can't do it.
She
She
was
said,
feeling
I'm feeling like
inspirational.
Beyonce. I'm feeling
Yes.
inspirational for the human
Amazing.
population.
Confident.
You're welcome.
in this. Ready.
Oh,
It's so beautiful.
what a time to be alive.
I gotta go get pregnant.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. You are now my friend who's going to be pregnant.
You're welcome. I'm expecting you to pay child support. So we'll also be talking to the one and only Afro Bella, who is known as the godmother of brown beauty blogging, which is a bomb-ass title to have.
Get your hair ready.
Get your hair did. It's been so long since I've asked this question, but Heaven, what time of it, yo?
I don't know. What time is it, Tracy?
Baby, come through. You deserve rounds tonight.
Oh, my God.
Let's buy some rounds.
Yes, Tracy. Who you buying around for?
Oh my gosh, I am buying a round for Miles Davis.
Ooh.
I have been listening to Miles Davis probably since college, I think, is when I discovered him. I used to have a friend who was very, very into jazz. And he sent me Miles's Kind of Blue album. And I would listen to it while I was writing. I think that's the only time that I would listen to him, is when I was trying to be creative. And recently I started listening to Miles again, and I was like, oh my God, this is fun. The activity of just sitting and listening to Miles Davis. I mean, my favorite shit, and this is going to sound so black bougie, is to sit in my living room.
I'm listening.
Is to sit in my living room, crack my windows a little bit, light some candles, have a glass of wine, or if anyone has any other intoxicants,
Sure,
whatever.
Sure.
I'm not here to judge. And listen to Miles Davis, in particular, Sketches of Spain. I love Sketches of Spain. And it's fun. It's fun to sit down and just listen to his music for me.
Word.
Yeah, it's a great way to unwind.
Did you
It's
watch
beautiful.
the movie?
I did.
With
Don Cheadle.
Your man's.
Oh, listen. And he's such a good actor.
Yes. The movie Miles Ahead, it's like less biopic and more like short little action movie almost.
Yeah.
It's like a Rolling Stone journalist follows him and
throughout this one crazy day. Or
yeah,
like this, like, one crazy
it's not
month.
so much like here's his life.
Yeah, his childhood. We
Yeah,
don't get all that.
which I kind of enjoyed.
And it also happens like sort of towards the decline of his career, kind of.
Which I thought was interesting too.
Yeah, I thought that was very, very interesting. I love anything that Don Cheadle is in. And he got Miles Davis's voice so well because Miles Davis had like this kind of, kind of raspy Jack,
He did get that down.
Yeah, he did a really, really good job. So the movie is good. And the movie is actually how I started listening to the Sketches of Spain because I'd never heard it before. And in the movie, he calls into a radio station. And he's basically like, stop playing all this bullshit and play Sketches of Spain.
Yes.
So that's who my round is for. Miles Davis in particular, Sketches of Spain. Check it out. We'll put it in the newsletter. I'll put a link in the newsletter.
Word.
How about you, Ev?
You know who I'd like to buy around for?
Me.
Absolutely.
Yay! I was right.
That wasn't what I was going to say, but yes. Tracy, are you kidding me?
I mean,
Every day of my life,
I
if
will
I could
cry.
buy you around,
cry.
I would. You know I don't have money like that, though. So we're working on it, Broken with Poverty.
okay, who is your round actually for?
I would like to buy around for friend of the show, Lin-Manuel Miranda,
Oh.
for the Hamilton mixtape.
Yes, I haven't listened to all of it yet. I'm like halfway through.
So just, you don't even have to listen to it. Just the idea of it and the fact that he made it happen
yeah,
just
you're right,
brings
you're
me
right.
so much joy.
You're right. Can I guess what your favorite track is?
I don't know if I have an answer.
Okay.
Hold on.
Okay. I feel like I know what it is.
Okay, well, so here's what's been brought up for me. So
Okay.
the mixtape is like his true vision of the show in that he originally sort of conceived of it as a concept album, which I didn't really know what that phrase meant, but he said it a lot. I was like, okay, what's a concept album?
Let me do some Googles.
Let me do my Googles. But the fact, he was just like, I want a mixtape that's like separate from this Broadway cast recording.
Right. Which is crazy,
such a,
first of
yeah,
all.
what?
How you just gonna sit down and write a whole play and then just write a whole mixtape?
Right. And then he's like, I want my favorite artists who like inspired this thing to be on the tracks, cross genre. Like, this shit is flames.
It's crazy.
It's a little rude.
Bruh, he brought Busta back.
He, like, the mix of
Like
humans on this.
Ja Rule and Ashanti. Oh my God. Like,
oh my God, I feel so seen and heard.
Before this mixtape came out, I was like, my children are never going to live in a world where Ja Rule and Ashanti are a thing. And now I'm like, well, maybe they will.
So on the cast recording, Say No to This. On the mixtape, Say Yes to This with Jill Scott.
Yes.
Jill
And you know,
Scott
Jill,
blew this out of the water.
because Jill Scott is, she's got
Slept
freak.
on.
Listen,
Slept
Jill
on.
Scott has got the bomb, like, seduce your man or somebody else's music. Always. He Loves Me. Fucking Crown Royal. Like, she.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
It was, I was like, ooh,
Yeah.
okay.
Saucy. So saucy.
In the
Saucy.
deepest,
Saucy.
sweetest parts of me, where I can't pretend I want you for always. Ain't no reason.
But there's just such fun surprises, even if like genre-wise, it's not for you, which
I guess.
I'm not like friendly to that argument. But let's say, you know, it has such a good mix, and I the fact that Lin-Manuel is like rapping about fucking Hamilton
Yeah.
to a like Tupac remix
Yeah.
of Hail Mary,
Right. Rapping from the viewpoint of fucking Thomas Paine. Excuse me?
right?
Excuse me? It's so good.
It's such a beautiful time to be at the Venn diagram of rap and musical theater. I feel so seen. I feel so heard. I've been thinking a lot about how I'm defining the years of my life. And I think Trump has this weight already for the Trump years. And I'm like, no, fuck that. You know what these years are? The Lin-Manuel years.
Listen, the Hamilton years.
The Hamilton years.
The Hamilton mixtape years.
Like, I do. Hamilton was one of those pieces of art for me that like is like truly transformational.
Yes, absolutely.
it's been a while since I've seen art that's inspired me to make something. And Hamilton mixtape, just living in that universe where Lin-Manuel is like, yeah, I'm going to play. I'm going to have some fun.
I'm gonna rewrite shit.
Yes.
Yo, man got skills, man.
Oh, my God. I'm just so happy to be alive in Lin-Manuel Miranda's America.
Proposal. Instead of acknowledging Donald Trump's America, can we just focus on Lin-Manuel Miranda's America?
Yes. Let's focus on the America that we care about.
The one that's not awful.
The one where I can thrive.
All right, Heaven's back, everybody.
Heaven's back. Back again.
I'm so glad you're back and we did it.
We ain't going
Oh,
nowhere. We ain't go nowhere. It can't be stopped. It's another round.
Okay.
I'm Harlem shaking, y'all.
We did it.
We
Heaven,
did
welcome
it.
back.
Hey.
Yay.
This is what I needed. We want to give our biggest, most heartfelt shout out to Janet Mock.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Season
I'm
2,
so
we back.
glad that you exist in the world.
Thank you
and
for
that you
blessing
like
us.
that
That
you-
collective glow up, you know?
Yeah.
Shout out to the Paw Squad.
Heaven's air horn is back. I feel like you sound more confident now with the air horn.
I hope
Someone's been
so.
practicing.
I haven't.
Yo. This episode was produced by the lovely and talented Nina Patak and Julia Furlan with editorial oversight from Eleanor Kagan and Meg Kramer, who just got engaged. Did you know that? The story is so cute, I can't stand it. I'm not even gonna.
Ridiculously adorable.
Ah,
Shout out to
congrats,
Meg.
y'all. Congrats. And production support from Chiquita Pascal.
Shout out to Noriko Okabe.
Noriko is the best person in the world.
Always
and
holding
I'm
us
glad
down
that I know
at
her.
Argo Studios.
Ba-ba-da-dum.
Ba-ba-da-dum. Noriko.
Ow, ow, ow. Shout out to our in-house musicians, Miss Jean Gray. You can follow her online at Jean Greasy. And Don Will of the Almighty Tanya Morgan. You can follow him at Don Will. You can follow Heaven at Heaven, like the place that people believe in, but she doesn't. And Rance,
Still don't.
like the thing that y'all's president-elect cannot stop doing.
Still does. And you can follow Tracy at Brokey McPoverty, like the financial state we're all trying to rise up out of.
Whew, bless us.
Hey.
Each and every one. You can email us at anotherround@buzzfeed.com. You can tweet us at Another Round. You can Facebook us at Another Round. You can do all the things mostly at Another Round.
Yep. You can rate us on iTunes.
Do it. Subscribe to the newsletter at buzzfeed.com/anotherround/newsletter. Drink some water, take your meds, call your person. What else? Buy some candles. Heaven, I'm really into candles.
Yo.
You know, I saw a $300 candle in person once, and I was like, it's not worth it.
What could it be made of?
It's gold, I guess, and like good
Gold
credit.
smell good?
I don't know. I don't know.
Good credit does smell good.
It probably does. I would never know.
I would never know. Oh.
Let's go home.
Oh my God.
Did you see RuPaul's Drag Race last night?
Of course I did.
It blew my mind.
It's all I ever talk about, and I can't find anybody to talk about it with, so I am so thankful that you're here.
I mean, you have become my RuPaul's Drag Race soulmate, and I am thrilled that we have a new podcast at BuzzFeed called The Library, where this is all we talk about.
Here, it truly is RuPaul's best friend race.
I could not agree with you more. So join us every Saturday as we recap the latest episode of Season 9 and gag over TV's best reality show.
Tune in wherever you find your podcasts.